Jesus says, I'm the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The God of your moment is with you in this moment. See, your moment will never come at the perfect time or under the perfect circumstances, but you have the perfect time. So what if we thought about our what ifs a little differently? What if our what ifs could be all about our faith? What if instead of our what ifs being about our concerns, what if they could be about our confidence? What if instead of those being our doubt, what if we could make those what ifs our trust? What if we flip the script on this thing a little bit? That every time I say, what if I mess up, instead I said, what if God shows up? What if instead of saying, what if I don't have what it takes? What if I say, what if God's using this as a setup in the midst of this setback? When I say, what if it's too late? What if instead I say, what if God's doing this just in time? In those moments when I say, what if I'm scared? Instead, what if I said, what if God is doing something wonderful in the midst of this? And I know I can trust him to nurture me, protect me, right in the middle of the place where I am. What if we changed our language about the what if? What if instead of it being filling us with fear, we allowed it to fill us with trust? What if we asked God to do something big in our life? What if we would shift this in this moment, in this window of time, and allow our what ifs to be something that causes us to trust him more than ever?
Well, good evening, Calvary. We're so glad you're joining us tonight for our Q&A, and I'm excited for tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight, asking questions and trying to get some answers for that. Before we get started, kind of want to let you know, Pastor Chad's not with us tonight, and he is off at school. As many of you guys know, he's working on his master's degree, and so tonight he has class, and so we get to have fun tonight, and he gets to sit in class. So I think he'd rather be with us tonight. So I asked a couple of my friends to join me. So I asked Pastor Jay, Pastor Jay, and Leah to join me tonight. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Man, great.
Excited
to be here,
guys. Life good for you on a Friday?
Oh, pretty exciting.
About as exciting as a Friday can get, but I'm excited to be able to hang out and talk tonight, and looking forward to it.
Okay.
It's more exciting now that you're here, Pastor Keith.
What's that? I'm sorry.
More exciting now that you're here.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Leah. Well, tonight, guys, I want to tackle a subject tonight and want to have some fun with it. But the question I have tonight, what is home life like right now? What does life look like? And so, church, I'm asking you to text your questions into us tonight. We want to hear questions from you and be able to answer it. It's easy. I know some of you guys said, well, I'm not going to type in a question because my name is attached to it. Well, tonight we're giving you the opportunity to text those questions in so your name won't be attached to it. And all you have to do is text to 419-740-0321. And you can text questions on about life, family, or relationships. And so encourage you tonight, really take some time and do that. We want those questions, and we'll see what we can do about answering them. So again, 419-740-0320 is the way you can text that in and see that, get the questions to us. And, as we're sitting here, there's questions rolling in and seeing them. And so, guys, I've been looking forward to this, and so I'm ready to dive in. You ready?
Do it.
Okay. So the first question that we've got already, and I like this question. Once this is all over, okay, what's the first thing you will do besides going to church? So what's the first thing you will do, And then, you guys are out there watching this, you can even text in your response. What's the first thing you will do once we're allowed to go do things? So Leah, Pastor Jay, what do you got there?
I know there's already memes going around about this, so it sounds very cliche, but a good walk through TJ Maxx will probably make my heart happy. maybe a twirl through the new Burlington. I didn't get to go there before they closed everything down, but I do enjoy taking a little stroll for some retail therapy.
I think for me, we've been trying to take walks whenever we can when there's not snow on the ground, through our neighborhood and whatnot. And you see the sorry sight of caution tape all around the playgrounds. And I have a 1-year-old who likes to point at the swing sets and all of that when we walk by. So I think the first thing I'm doing is hopping on that playground and playing with my little girl. So, I'm gonna get out. We've been cooped up in the house so much that I think I just need to go burn some energy off on the playground.
Good. I mean, I've thought about this question while you guys are answering it, and there's so many things I don't know. Like I might run to TJ Maxx with my girls. I mean, that's their store they love to go to. I don't know. I mean, there's something. I want to do. And get out and do something that way. Today we were just sitting around talking about, man, wouldn't it be great just to go to the movies right now? So I don't know, maybe I'll just go to the movies and sit in a theater with a bunch of people, and that way. So great question. Thanks for saying. Another question we have here is, what is something new you have tried during the quarantine at home? So, I mean, Leah, what is something new you have tried at home during the quarantine?
Well, what's something new that we did start doing? We use our dishwasher. We were not big dishwasher people, because it's just James and I. So we eat dinner, we just wash the dishes. But we're eating a lot more food at home because we're here for, more time. And so we looked at each other and said, it's time to start using the dishwasher. So that's been a new thing. And it's new because this morning, I think around 5 o'clock, I heard James jump out of bed, and I thought it's really early, but he ran and turned on the dishwasher and ran and got back in bed because he had forgot the night before. So we're not very good at remembering to do it, but we're trying. So that's our new thing that we're doing at our house. It's very exciting.
That is exciting. It's exciting. So, Pastor Jay, I want to ask you this question. When I just saw this question that came in, I like this question because I think a lot of families are probably experiencing this one right now. How do I avoid frustration with my family while we are quarantined together?
Oh man! And if you know my family growing up, and then if you know my wife now, I'm the king of making people frustrated. So, a silly answer that's probably not the right answer or the right thing for me to do is just be the one who's frustrating everybody else. But let's have a better answer than that. I think it's being aware of those things. There's tells that whether it's siblings, whether it's kids, whether it's your significant other, that you'll be like, okay, yep, they're aggravated. For me, I know, man, Molly gives off some cues. It's like, all right, I should probably not go one more step. Let's retreat, apologize, and move forward. And yeah, there's something about it, when you're just cooped up so much. Like Molly and I have been having these conversations. It's like, man, we're just going stir crazy. Like we want to go out on walks or just be able to go outside, but then trying to bundle up Ivy, and just it's been cold out this week. We're like, man, bring on this 50 degree, 60 degree weather we're supposed to be getting. But yeah, I think it's just being aware of what those signs are. And if you don't know what those are, you better start learning, because you might have some more issues coming your way if you don't.
You might be able to ask. Someone could probably tell you what they are.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with just being upfront. Like, hey, is this bugging you? Or what's your sign?
Yeah, it's definitely something new. Like, I just remember the other day, I'm here in my office and I'm working, and my girls are home right now too. And you can hear the craziness going on that they bring, and, at first you just think, oh, it's just my girls being crazy. But then you start to listen a little bit and you can hear the little nitpicking and then the little bit of going on and more. And, so yeah, I got to go out there and see what's going on. And, the thing you got to say to them, you got to try to help them see, okay, hey, you need to go do something else different right now. Get away from your sister, and go do something different. And the thing that I could tell them right now is hey, why don't you go for a walk right now? or get in your car and go for a drive, and do those things, because you have to try to avoid the situation, because there is right now a lot of tension. You're sitting in a house all day and you're not doing anything. And I think that's even not with just your kids, you have that, but I think also your spouse. There's sometimes that builds up there a little bit, if you're, some of us are used to leaving and going to work all day and then coming home to our kids and our spouses, but now our spouses are around us all day. And so sometimes that gets a little nerve-wracking. And so I think you're right, Pastor J. We got to continue to look at, okay, I can feel it building up. So maybe we got to do this and shift it to a different way. I got to shift to a game or the walk or something, that way.
I think one of the best ways to de-escalate frustration too is when it's gone too far, to make sure that you're somebody who can apologize and own it, because when you just move on and don't acknowledge it, that tends to just add on to it for the next time.
Yeah, it's good. So, here's another good question that's come in. There used to be this thing called date nights, couples used to do, and now you really can't do a date night. So how do you do a date night, Leah, while you're at home?
We've been trying to, like Pastor Jay said, like go out on a walk, but we've been doing a lot of driving. So we moved not even a year ago. And so where we live, we haven't like explored all of the areas. And so we've been doing that a lot. Sometimes I've already gone somewhere and haven't taken him yet. And so I'll be like, oh, James, I got a surprise. And all it is driving down a street that he's never seen before. But it gets us out of this space. It gets us looking around. It gets us, doing something else, and, just kind of breaks up the monotony. And so I think it's just, finding, it doesn't have to be exciting or extravagant, but just kind of finding some little things, and even like trying to make sure that at least once a week, we're usually trying to buy food out to help support like our local guys in our little town, but then it kind of mixes it up a little bit. So it's our very blah date night.
Well, you have to get creative with it now, like you said, and you can order food. Everybody's got curbside pickup now, and and you be creative. Maybe you drive down by the water and eat your food in the car or whatever. You still have to create them. They're still important, but it's just a different way. How do you create them? So, yeah, it's good. Good answer there. Another question coming in here, looking at it, is are you working on any fun projects right now? So being at home all day now is giving us an opportunity to work on some fun projects. Any of you guys have any fun projects, that you currently might be working on to pass this time? If not, I'll share.
I think you had a doozy of a project.
Yeah.
Let's hear yours.
Okay. So for me, guys, the project is, Mara and I have always liked to watch the home improvement shows, going before this all happened. And, when you start watching those shows, you look at them, you tackle them, you're like, I can do this project. Well, when COVID-19 happens and you're stuck at home, you look for a project. And so we said, you know what? Let's be one of those shows, and let's gut out the kitchen floor, the dining room floor, the living room floor, and let's all relay new floor and do something different with it, and let's go ahead with it, and let's make this a family project as well. And so first thing that was wrong with that is I said, let's make it a family project is the big problem, with that. But I can say I have all 10 fingers still, after cutting the floor, but it doesn't go as fast as they show on the show and on the TV shows you watch that, hey, it's done in a week or whatever. It took us a little bit longer than I expected, and a little bit more patience, so a little bit more snags than I thought, but that's our COVID-19 project. As a family, we relayed flooring in the house. I'm pretty happy with, I'm really happy with it. I think I'm a pro now, but I do not want to start a show I'm home remodeling.
You don't
I think
want
this
to
is my last home project. So
you don't want to remake every house in Mommy.
yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So
I totally understand the remodeling thing. I did my kitchen about a year and a half ago. So yeah, that's you start getting into it, and I did the whole knocking walls out and all of that. So I was like, well, if I knock a hole in the wall, I'm committed. So little did I know that everything else that would come with it. But it looks great now and it's done, so that's what matters.
yeah, every day I walk down and I see it, I'm like, oh, this looks great. But last week I was pulling out the rest of my hair, so it was not that way.
Yeah.
Other great question here is, what any new hobbies have you picked up during this time? So again, this gives us a chance for maybe you to sit back because we're at home all day to pick up a new hobby. I'll start with you, Pastor Jay. Any new hobbies?
I wouldn't say any new hobbies, but I've been like some of my favorite things to do is work, like do projects around the house. Like it's a way for me to get my mind off things, and so been trying to tackle, like going along with the last question, like getting my planter beds ready before all the cold hit. So starting to get ready for that. For me though, one of my favorite hobbies, and I consider it a hobby, is just cooking, baking, smoking meats, like doing anything related to food. So I've been doing that. We've been eating good in the Heiss house, let's say that. So.
What are some of those things you've cooked, Jay, that you want to share with us?
Well, I managed to get into the river, and so I caught some walleye here with the run a few weeks ago, and so I broke out my smoker and smoked some walleye. That was pretty good. First time I'd ever tried it that way. So, but man, I did, back when this all kind of was beginning, I did a Jigs dinner, obviously, for St. Patty's Day. I've smoked a few different kinds of meats, ribs, chicken wings, did some pulled pork. So yeah, it's been just going for it. And so here's the thing, like I can do a little of everything when it comes to like cooking, whether it's grilling, cooking, or whatever. And I know how to bake, but it's not something I enjoy doing. But that's where my wife comes in. And Molly's been baking a ton. Oh, it's been good, man. It's been good.
So Pastor Jay, how much weight have you gained since this is
I refuse to step on the scale.
What's that?
Like I refuse to step on the scale.
Okay.
I would rather just, keep that out of sight, out of mind right now. I still feel all right. I mean, I've been taking my walks, so I'm justifying it in that way.
Oh yeah, you go for a walk after eating all day, you're all right. You can go back home and eat some more.
Pastor Jay, do you have curbside pickup? Because I could drive by later today.
You know what? When there's leftovers, I'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're cooking all that stuff, we need to know about that, man.
All right.
Not the picture after it's gone, but like the picture.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. I try and make a lot at times, but then other times it's like, man, there's not nothing left. So it's been fun. That's been my hobby, though. Honestly, I've done that just a lot.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like fun. Picking up. I think that's what some of this is going to come. We get past this. Some people are going to pick up some of these new hobbies and doing things different. I don't know, Leah. I'm always interested in Leah's life because Leah's always got the adventures and stuff. Like, any new hobbies that you picked up yourself?
No, I mean, I think like Jay said, some of it's just you have more time. So been reading more than I usually get a chance to do. So that's kind of been nice. I do like to go on a good adventure. I like to travel, but this is obviously not the season to do that. So there's a couple that does travel vlogs on like YouTube. And for the last couple of years, I've kind of, watch one here, watch one there. And usually if it's like a place that I've been, it's fun to like see somebody else experiencing it. And so James has never seen them before. So I said, I'd like Pastor Chad's been introducing us to his friends. So I said, James, I want to introduce you to my friends. So we've kind of been watching those. I don't know if that's really a hobby, but it's been kind of fun to travel with them, and so they've been traveling for 4 years, like full time now. It's really amazing. And that's been kind of fun. It also helps us to not be like watching the news constantly or, kind of like always, seeing the recaps of what's happening. It just kind of gives you a break and forget what's going on and you're in Thailand for a day. So that's been kind of one of the things we've been doing at our house.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, another good question that came in just here a few minutes ago, and I want to ask this question and get your guys' take on it, because I do think, I look at it, all of us are in this situation in our office, and so want to hear from you on this. The question is, how are you doing your job at home when your spouse is also working from home? Who wants that one?
I'll take that one. I think, well, Pastor Jay, you're probably in a little bit different situation because your wife's still going to work, and we applaud her and thank her for that. She works in the medical field, which is so awesome. But yeah, like James and I are both home, and we do not have a door or a wall to separate us because of the apartment we're living in. So there's been more than one time where like we're both on a video call or we're both on a conversation, and I have to like creep and like grab my computer and like run to another room and run to the bedroom or the bathroom and try to shut the door. But it's not easy because we're both have things that we've got to get done and people who are relying us to get the work done. And so I think it's just learning to have grace and to maybe try to adjust, or there's days where James will go into work later. And so then I can try to get a lot of my video stuff done earlier. So we'll try to like, kind of vary it a little bit. But it can be challenging. And I think it's just, you have to have grace and know that maybe it's not going to look exactly the way it did when you worked in your office.
Yeah, it's so true. Go on, Jay. You were saying something?
Yeah, I think, for me, especially just with what we've been doing with the youth ministry too, it's just, there's certain times where just prioritizing when can I do what. So I'm not going to lie, some of the best work I've gotten done is from 8 p.m. to midnight because it's when Ivy goes to bed. It's when I get some time, it's where I can focus my mind just depending on the day. But also knowing what is the stuff that I got to get done during the business hours. And so, that's been a help. But yeah, Molly, she is a nurse. So, she does have to go in. So the days that she goes into work, I'm on baby duty all day long. And so, it's planning around those things. And so, just making sure that if there's important things done, that I get those done before, maybe she's gone all day. And when I do have a baby or Ivy goes down for a nap, I was like, all right, I got an hour and a half. Let's make this count, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, That's good stuff. I mean, I know for me, it's been different. I set my office up in one area. My wife Maren sitting her office up in a different area. And so, you can hear her on her Zoom calls, and I know she can hear me sometimes on my Zoom call. One of the things I've learned about her and her work is she's really good at her job. I always knew that, but now I get to hear it or see it. And so that's been really cool to be that. But also sometimes I've caught myself venturing into her office because she's home and I want to see her and just talk to her sometimes. And it's not the right time because she's on a call and all her people are looking at me like, who's that bald-headed guy just jumped in the back of the room, Yeah. And then I get the look like, get out of here. So, but yeah, it's different, and we're working at it and learning it. But just can say, man, I've been able to get into her world more and see, man, how great a job she does what she does, and just proud of her. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
So, another question that came in, and this is a good one, and I think we all need to know this, especially when we're at home and even have kids. What games are you guys playing right now that we should know about, that maybe we don't know about, that would be good for us to know that we can tackle with our families?
And people should text us in their answers because, like, we need more games too.
Yeah.
I think you too, Pastor Heath. I'm a big Ticket to Ride fan, and so I can either play it here or I've got an app and have some friends that I play with, and so we can social distance and still, play a game together, which is crazy, the technology that we have, and just all the different gaming things. And so I'm a big fan, and I love it. I love me some Rummikub. That's one of my other favorite ones.
Yeah, Ticket to Ride is my game. I've shared that before, and I've shared this before too. And I probably shouldn't say it like this, but I'm very good at that game. So, but it is a great game, and so I encourage you, if you don't got Ticket to Ride, pick it up. There is an app on it. You can download the app and play it that way. But super fun game. And what's great about that app is you can actually play on that app with family members, that you don't live with or anywhere else, that you can say, hey, play me in Ticket to Ride, and it's good. So encourage you that way. Pastor Jay, what about you? Any games?
Yeah, by the time we get some time to ourselves with not having a baby, we haven't played many, I guess, games. But ways that I've stayed connected to people, especially our youth students, has been through certain video games as well. So I have a Nintendo Switch, so Super Smash Bros, Mario Kart, been able to play with some students and other friends, and they have some cool chat features through the app, so we're able to talk while we play. So it's been really fun to stay connected and not disconnected in this time. But yeah, that's been more so when it comes to games.
Yeah. Again, want to throw it out to you guys. If you have a question for us, you can text us at 419-740-0320 and ask us a question. And even, if you're playing a game right now, text that into us, or even on Facebook Live, if you're watching, put it in the comments there. Say, hey, this is the game we're playing. Because again, like Leah said, we want to know too. We're in this situation with you, and we want to know the games that we can be playing with our family and stuff like that.
I'll piggyback off that. If you've got any recipes I should try, comment those below as well. I'll go back and look at those comments. And so I'm always looking to try new things, and whatever I need to mobile order from the grocery store. Put your suggestions in. I like trying the new stuff.
Yeah.
Pastor Jay, we all know that you're the cook, not me, but I do have a new recipe I tried, and I've made it twice. It's very good, but it's cauliflower rice, but with coconut milk and cashews. Delicious.
Okay.
And some other spices, but otherwise, it's very good.
Sounds good.
Good. This is an interesting question, and I think we're all experiencing that, and we can talk about this for a few minutes. Have any of us saw any important events that are important to us in our life been canceled during this COVID-19 situation that we're in? And I can kind of start that off. Our family has kind of experienced a lot of that different things, with, our youngest daughter who's in, still in high school. She was in a musical and, worked really hard for this musical. We were looking forward to go see that, and that got canceled. So as a family, we tried to figure out how to bring her hopes back up, and that. So, we did record this in church. You'll never see it, but we did put on the Willy Wonka Charlie Factory musical for her, and we all had parts. And I really found out how great of a singer that I truly am, and that I can do different roles, and so that was good. Our son Zach, who's a senior in college, sent home to do college the rest of the year here, and then graduation as well as postponed. And then he's also getting married in June. So there's all these things that are there. So as a family, we're just like, as a dad, I got to try to figure out how to continue to pick up my kids and put my arms around them and love them, and, constantly saying, man, I'm sorry, I don't get this right now, but hey, God's got something in store, big for you, and we just got to get on the other side of that. And so trying to always bring that positive part to it, because, like I said, the kids are being hit with that, and so I don't know, your guys' world as well, anything there?
Yeah, I think, it's that same thing, is just having people in your life that have some big, moments coming up. We had some good friends who were going to get married, and so they're having to postpone their wedding and kind of figure out, what does this look like and what do we do next? But I think I know a lot of people have said this, but Easter being canceled was not Easter, but you know what I mean? Where we all come together. That was really interesting because like it doesn't just involve, I mean, it's a celebration that you can do anywhere, and and that was fine, but there is all of the kind of traditions that come with that are part of our culture. And so whether it's the Easter egg hunt, or it's the new outfit for church, or it's going to mom and dad's house for dinner afterwards, it was just kind of bizarre, put a different twist on the day. I think it was cool because it allowed us to focus on what the real meaning of the day is, but there still is kind of that emptiness of but I didn't get ham at mom and dad's house. So yeah, it's just an odd situation when it's not just like me because I was sick. I wasn't sick, but I'm just saying, like, there's times where you miss something because maybe you're out of commission, but the fact that like the whole world's out of commission, it just is really an interesting time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's been anything directly affecting us that's been canceled, but even for like our youth students, there's been some of our network like annual events that have been canceled, like our fine arts performance that was coming up the end of this month, and then we even just found out about the National Fine Arts being canceled in August, and so a lot of students who had been working really hard for that. So being able to along those lines, Pastor Keith, just encourage and lift up those students. And we're looking into ways like, man, how do we showcase that, because we want to affirm the gifts that our students have. So we're looking into some options for how we'll do that. But yeah, it's seeing the effects of that all around. Like, it's very, very real. I don't know a ton of people, but yeah, weddings postponed, big life monuments postponed because of this. And so it's affecting a lot of that.
Yeah, that's good. Another great question here is, we're all using this tool, especially in our church office, and even through this right now, we're using Zoom, and Zoom has been a great platform in this time of it. So it really, what I love about Zoom, it is keeping us connected. And so, but a lot of us, like my family lives out of town, and I don't get to see them, are any of you guys using Zoom to stay connected with your family?
Yeah, for me, literally before I hopped on this call, we were just hanging out with my family, and they all live in town, other than a couple of my sisters in Columbus and Ashland, Ohio. But, when you've got a 1-year-old niece, grandbaby, like, they're missing that. So being able to just pull up the phone, pull up the iPad, have a Zoom call. Like, I know my family was eating dinner and I was playing with Ivy on the floor and kept joining in. So yeah, it's been really cool. Like, I can't imagine doing this in another time where we don't have all of these resources at our hands. I could only imagine the extra effects of everything that would be taking place if we didn't have ways to stay connected like we can. So, the fact that I can still hang out with you guys here, and the fact that I can still communicate with my family visually is such a blessing, and so thankful for that.
Yeah,
it's so good, and encourage you guys out there, if you haven't used it. I mean, we do all our life groups through Zoom, and it's a way for you to stay connected. And so it's easy to join life groups here at Calvary by just going to our webpage, toledocalvary.org, and and click on Get Connected, and there's all our groups, and they operate through Zoom, and so it's easy to be a part of, and use that. If you have family out of town, use Zoom, or any of those social media platforms. I just don't want to say Zoom, and Zoom's not paying me to say that, but it's an easy thing, and so do that part of it. What are you guys learning right now during this time of quarantine?
I think just learning like it kind of makes communication be so much more important in a whole new way, I find like a lot more of my communication is just through written, like maybe there's someone in the office, I would walk down and I'd stick my head in their office or in their cubicle and ask a question, but we don't have that option right now. And I can call people, but sometimes you're like, I don't want to bother, so I'll just send an email. But you have to really work on your communication skills and, think through how you're going to do things. So I think that, or even like Pastor Jay said earlier, is, how are you communicating with the people in your house that you're with constantly? And so just working on all those different communication skills. I think that's something I've just been learning is how do I be more intentional? I'm not going to run into you at church on Sunday morning as we pass in the atrium. And so having to take time and really kind of think through who am I connecting with, even make a list. Like I have a list of people, like who am I making sure that I'm checking in with, because we just take for granted that we just like bump into each other, like while we're getting our coffee at church, or like, you know, as you're passing the fireplace and you can kind of exchange a little bit, but that has to happen in a new way. So yeah, I think just trying to be intentional with that and with relationships.
Yeah, it's good. So fun question here. I mean, the Netflix question. What show are you watching on Netflix to get you through this quarantine? Any of you got something there you say, man, you got to watch this? You know, Leah, you mentioned a show a little bit ago, and what was the name of that show?
It's a YouTube show. It's called Kara and Nate. Kara with a K. Yeah, we don't have Netflix. Sorry, I don't have a Netflix answer for you.
Jay, you got Netflix?
Yeah, I got a little of all those platforms. I think we've watched just about everything on Disney Plus at this point. So that's fun. You know, I haven't been watching a lot of TV actually, or shows. So it's one of those things. Yeah, I don't have a good answer. I know. You would think in quarantine.
Yeah. You guys are disappointed because I thought you would give me a show to watch, because I don't have a show. I mean, I'm same thing, kind of not tuning into too much TV. The only thing we're kind of watching still on Wednesday nights is I'm a Survivor guy, you know, but that's not Netflix, but it's, you know, but Leah, you had your finger up there.
Yeah, Pastor Jay reminded me, we've been watching on Disney Plus. It's like The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Is that what it's called? Is that what it's called? And that's actually really interesting. And he just kind of like looks at like things like, where did ice cream come from? And I don't know if Pastor Jay, if you watched the one on sneakers, but you need to, it's very good. You know, where did campers come from? Why do we have campers? You know, and Jeff, he's pretty funny dude. We watched one the other night and it was about swimming. And so he, you know, went to water parks and looked at the history of swimming. So it's an entertaining one. And you can be educated at the same time.
Yeah. I see comments coming in on our Facebook live stream there, and people saying some of the shows they're watching. So yeah, I continue to put those there because, you know, when I get bored, I need to watch something. So that would be great to have that and do that. So again, if you have questions, you know, I want to encourage you to text those questions into us at 419-740-0320. And, you know, we got a couple more questions here. Has anyone had the opportunity to love on people in the community and pray for them? So this is a great question because, you know, we keep telling people as a church, you know, hey, get outside the church walls, into your neighborhood. I mean, have you guys heard any stories, or have you had the opportunity to do anything like that yourself as well?
I've been really encouraged as we've been helping on Sundays with our Love the 409 collection, and just seeing Calvary be so faithful as always. And last week we, you know, every Sunday from 1 to 2 we collect the different items. And I think last Sunday at I looked at my watch at one point thinking we had been out there for like 40 minutes, and it has only been 10 minutes. And the amount of cars that had pulled up in 10 minutes and the amount of stuff we already had in our pile was crazy. And so that's just been really encouraging. And it's fun to be able to then in turn, like, help the church bless our, you know, the ministries we work with. And so I've been in touch with a lot of those ministries, just finding out about their needs, praying for them and helping them. And they really are on the front lines, kind of like how we say, like, our medical people are on the front lines. But a lot of these ministries where they're located, they're already helping to feed a population that doesn't have a lot. And so then you go into a season like this and it's just extra, you know? So that's kind of been some of the stuff with the community that I've been able to be a part of.
Yeah, that's good. And Leah, this Sunday is even a special day. I mean, do you want to talk about this Sunday? What's going on?
It is. So check your calendar. It is April 19th, which is 419 Day. And so if you haven't had a chance to come out, I would encourage you to grab. It can literally be like a can, or it can be an entire trunk full. It doesn't matter. So if you have a couple things to donate, we're doing non-perishable food, baby items like diapers or wipes, and formula. hygiene items or like, you know, things for cleaning, and then any of those like little prepackaged snack items. So like little Debbie's or chips, things that we can put in lunches. And so, yeah, so it's 419 days. Celebrate by bringing something to donate to the 419, but also take time to pray for our city, for those who lead our city, having to make hard decisions every day. And maybe when you come out, you can wear your, you can wear your 419 shirt, drive by, wave, and we'll grab your stuff out of your trunk for you.
Love that. So yeah, this Sunday from 1 to 2, encourage you to stop by and do that, and that would be great. You know, we continue to tell people, hey, to love your neighbors. And one of the things that I've noticed during this quarantine is, you know, in my neighborhood that I am, there's a lot more people out walking, a lot more neighbors are just willing to talk. And so this is, I think God has really given us a cool opportunity to take that time and to get into our neighbor's world, you know, because before this all happened, what did we used to do? Pull in the driveway, walk in our garage, shut the door, and keep to ourselves. Now it's different, you know, now our neighbors want to hear from us. And so I know personally, well, how I'm staying connected with my neighbors is when I'm out, which is every day now, is, you know, I'm taking the time, stopping and talking to them, asking, how are you doing? You know, sometimes that's the biggest thing that they need is just conversation. You know, this is what I like being with you guys tonight. It's just conversation. You know, we're having some conversation, you know, we're hearing from people and that way. And so sometimes that's the biggest need. And I think a lot more people are open to share right now than they have been in the past. You know, I took my dog on a walk, and, you know, the walk took a lot longer than it normally did in the past because neighbors stopped and talked to me, neighbors that I've never talked to before, you know? And so I've been guilty of that myself. Like, hey, I'm just keeping my head down. I'm just going to keep going. But no, now it's like, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? And I think that's the question we got to continue to ask. And, you know, and checking in on our neighbors is just a simple, hey, how are you doing? You know, you can knock on your neighbor's door and step back 6 feet and see how they're doing. And so I encourage you, man, take that time to do that, and you know, it will pay off in the long run with that. And so that's good. A couple more questions here.
BK, I think the other thing that is also interesting about this time is people are really open for prayer in a way that they normally maybe like they would shy away from, or they would think it was like odd. But now I think you see people asking for prayer so much more. And so, yeah, I mean, if you're in that situation where someone says to you, like, have a need, or man, would you pray for me? I would just encourage us to like start that habit and that practice of saying, like, can I pray with you right now? And even just take that time to, you know, it's one thing to say, yeah, I'll be praying with you. It's another thing to really like stop on your dog walk and say a little prayer. And it doesn't have to be anything like crazy or super spiritual, but just showing people that we serve a God who is alive and is listening, you know? And so I think it's just this unique time when prayer maybe isn't always accepted, that people are looking for that hope. And sometimes that's all they know is just that there's this thing called prayer that's out there. And so getting to like model that for them can be really cool.
Yeah, it can be really cool. This question I want to ask you guys, and I like it, and I have a response to it as well. What is something you appreciate about this time that you hope that continues? So what is something you appreciate about this time that you hope continues?
I think for me, you know, this has been one thing, and we've talked a little bit about this already, but just you are forced to spend time with your family, you know? And so I wouldn't say that I didn't spend time with my family because I didn't want to, but sometimes just life gets crazy with that. And so the fact that we have the time that we have had together has been super cool. And so, you know, the last 3 weeks, all three of us had birthdays. So, you know, we were spending a lot of time celebrating in unique ways and Zoom calling family and connecting that way. And so it's been something that's super cool. And, you know, the meals, like watching a 1-year-old eat spaghetti tonight, you know, and just get it it's just been fun being able to spend that time. And so, you know, it's one of those things where I've reflected back and say, man, this is something we weren't always making a priority. That has to be something that's important moving forward, you know, and not just jumping back into the same routines of life when when life comes back. Because I think the reality is this: life is not going to be exactly the way it was before all this. And so we're going to go back to work someday. We're going to go back to ministry, but it's going to look differently because of what's taken place. And what better time for a reset than when you're forced into that, you know? And we might question why everything is happening around us, and we might question why a lot. But I think it's one of those things where if we can take, man, how can we grow? How can we thrive in this time? That it'll set us up to be stronger moving forward out of it.
It's awesome. Yeah, and you know, I think Pastor Jay, that's one of the things that I want to see when we come out of this is that families, I think right now, are doing more things together than they have in the past. Think about this for a second. Right now, it's spring season. If things were to normal right now, families would be all going different directions because of sports and all those things. And again, I love sports. I'm the sports guy, and you know, and that part of it. But that also creates so much busyness in our life that we're constantly running, that we're running all day. I mean, work all day, running, and we come home, and then we're back in bed, and then back at it again. Now I really see that this has taken families and has forced families, okay, we got to spend some time together. And again, not like my family wasn't spending time together, but now we're doing it a lot longer and we're getting creative on the things we're doing. We're playing more games together. We're just sitting with the TV off more than we ever used to do in the past, and we're talking. And so these are things that I hope that don't change. I hope that when families, when this is over with, families come out of there and they're stronger. Yeah, we're all as parents, especially if I had little ones right now, would be going crazy too, you know, and I get that. But man, we're in a cool season right now as far as there's nothing going on. And so take it and, you know, allow your marriage to grow in this. Again, you know, this is a chance to, man, open up the communication lines. You know, that's sometimes the number one reason why marriages are struggling is because we're not communicating. Now you can communicate, you know, families spending time together. This is that part of it. So encourage you to do that. You know, every year I choose a verse for our family, a Bible verse that's going to be good for us, and pray about it. And this is a verse that, you know, that's also been kind of, you know, I've used throughout my life. It's if you've been in my office at church, I have it on my office wall. Thankful for, you know, those stores that sell all the verses on the, you know, that my wife shop at, that, you know, you can find your verse you want and put on your wall. But the verse I want to share with you tonight is Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. It says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." And I think right now, 2020 hasn't started off like anybody's had it planned. You know, I was just joking with my wife about it. Like, man, this is a crazy beginning to a new decade, you know, and this is not the way I planned 2020 to be. And I don't think none of us planned it that way. And it can be a season right now where we can be terrified, we can be scared, but you know, the word's saying, hey, be strong, be courageous right now. Your God will be with you wherever you go. God is with us in this time right now. And we got to remember to be strong and be courageous. He's going to give you that strength right now. Right now, I know some of you right now need that strength from God, you know, and I'll be the first one to say to you, this week I was on the struggle bus, you know, it was rough, you know, and you had to, but I went back to this verse that I had, and right there it says, be strong, and God is with me. And so right away, just pray, hey, God, your word says this, and I need your strength right now. And right now, I believe tonight there's some of you just need that strength. And so we're going to pray that. Some of us need that to be, you know, courageous right now. And that's from anywhere from knocking on our next door, you know, the door of our neighbor next door and asking them, hey, how are you doing? How can I pray with you? You know, because we need to be courageous with that. But also know we're going to get through this. You know, I wish I can tell you guys the time this is going to be over with. We don't know. And so tonight really wanted to take some time and just share with you, like, okay, here's some things that how we're doing life at home right now. Pick up a new hobby. Someone texted the question, PK, how's your guitar lessons going? And somebody who knew that didn't know that, but I said going into this, I was going to learn to play guitar. I'm still trying to learn to play guitar. When I come out of this, I'm going to be the best. Since you don't want to let me join the worship team, I'm going to be the guitar player, But what is it that you want? My encouragement to you is this: don't come out of this quarantine and nothing's changed from you, because you can go into this quarantine and come out and be the same person. I don't think that's what God wants for you. He wants you to come out of this and be strong, be courageous, and be a totally different person. Families to be strengthened, marriages to be strengthened. And I think that's what we can get out of this. And so tonight, I just want to take time and pray with you for that. And thanks for allowing us to share with you tonight. So can we pray tonight? Let's go ahead and pray. Father, we thank you for tonight. And we thank you that we have time to just hang out with technology. And God, we thank you for the questions that come in. And God, I pray for every person that is logged in tonight, God. You know their situation in their home right now. God, you know where they need a touch of you. God, a lot of us need to receive some strength from you tonight, God. And so, God, we pray that, God, that you just allow us to have your strength tonight, God. Let us to be courageous. God, give us that encouragement that we need. God, we pray that when we, turn on the news and there's so many things that happen there, it's easy to get terrified. But God, we know we can look to you and know that you're in control right now. And God, we're going to get through this with you, and we're going to be better on the other side of that. So God, we just pray during this time, use us. Let us be a light for you, God. God, let us be able to walk into our neighborhood and let us be able to speak into somebody's life. God, give us the words that we need for that. God, I pray for families right now that need a touch from you, that are just struggling right now just because the tension is strong in the home being locked up right now. God, I pray right now you just ease that tension in that house right now. God, I pray for all the parents who are trying to homeschool their kids right now. God, I pray that you give them the knowledge and the skills that they need in that time as well. God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for how you're using us, and we look forward to how you're going to continue to use us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pastor Jay and Leah, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This was fun just to ask questions and see how you guys are doing. And, church, thank you for joining us on a Friday night. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And just want to remind you, we have services even on Wednesday night you can log into on our webpage and check those out as well. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to worshiping with you on Sunday.